So my name is Pawel Bochniarz and I come from Poland, Warsaw to be specific. And I was invited here in two capacities. So I represent Value Tech Seed, a VC fund focused on early stage startups. But also I represent, I'm a chairman of MIT Enterprise Forum Central Eastern Europe, which is the chapter of MIT Enterprise Forum. And we are an accelerator program. We work with startups principally in the B2B, business-to-business sphere. And what I'm doing here is I'm going to be a member of the jury tomorrow for the startup competition. I had a presentation about our acceleration program, and I'm looking forward to mentoring some startups later on today. It's my first time in Turkey, really. I mean, apart from from holidays some time ago. And it's my first time at Startup Turkey, obviously. And I'm really impressed by how diverse a group of startups we have been able to bring. So I'm very happy to see that it's not just the Turkish startups who are here, but also I've seen startups from as far as Indonesia come here, Pakistan, some African countries. So it is great to see such a diversity, and I think it goes to show that the startup world is really, like a global village, and people are much more mobile today than they have ever been before. I travel quite a bit for my work, both sourcing potential investment targets for our fund, but also inviting startups to our acceleration program. So I have been, just this year, probably to 4 or 5 different startup competitions in the different places of this world. And I have to say that I think Startup Turkey stands out in terms of diversity of startups. So I would say that probably the startups I have seen so far are a little bit early stage, but they represent a much bigger, wider group in terms of geographic representation, for example. Well, I'll be looking first of all for how well they define the problem they are trying to solve. I think there's a lot of startups who are built around an idea that only vaguely corresponds to a particular problem that clients want to solve. And you can spend a long time climbing the ladder and just finding out that there's no apples on the tree that you're climbing. So you'd better make sure that the ladder that you're climbing is put next to the right tree. This is the metaphor that I'm using when I'm working with startups. Don't waste your energy on a solution that doesn't have a very well-defined market need. I would say that certain things don't change at all. So I think team is always the most important thing. And when whether we are recruiting into an accelerator or as a VC fund, we always look for dedicated, hardworking individuals that form complementary teams. This is really important. So there will always be some skill gaps in the teams. We also would like the teams to be ready, to be flexible, and actually be ready to accept other people coming from outside to join their teams. I would say this is probably something that is not changing at all. What is probably changing from year to year is focus on different technologies and industries. I think we probably have gone already beyond the crypto rush. There, a couple of years ago, everybody was trying to invest into crypto startups. Having said that, I think blockchain is still very much a focus, but as a sort of enabling technology for the different applications, not necessarily in the financial sector. We see a lot of interest in AI and IoT. AI standing for artificial intelligence, IoT standing for Internet of Things, and these things get more and more connected. So Obviously, another area which is very exciting is autonomous vehicles. 5G, I think, is going to spur the growth of many more startups. We already see that upsurge. There's a lot of technologies that can only be enabled and effectively implemented once 5G standard is accepted. So there's a lot of things changing and a lot of new trends coming up. We are happy to be an accelerator which is not vertically focused. We accept a wide range of startups, and we have proven to be successful supporting startups from the financial sector to energy, insurance, clean tech, agriculture, and many others. I think it's too early to actually answer that question. I missed the board tour yesterday, unfortunately. So actually it's my first day today at the conference, so I just had a couple of meetings. It's too early. So maybe I'll just, what I would like to say, and this was I think the main point of my presentation, is that rules of the game of business have changed. I mean, international business used to be reserved for the big multinational companies, and nowadays startups have just a bigger chance to successfully expand in multiple locations around the world as the big companies, or maybe even bigger, because they are more agile, they are more flexible. And I think startups should pursue that opportunity. Their home market may not necessarily be the best location to grow their business out of, because of regulations, access to capital, access to clients. So you have to look around and not just get stuck in one place. So I think events like this one, where you draw startups from so many different places, I think form an excellent opportunity to look beyond the home market at opportunities that exist in Turkey, Central and Eastern Europe, or other places. Well, if I'm invited, I'll gladly come back to Startup Turkey. Obviously, yes, Turkey, I think, is an important, very important country in our region. So we will continue to be present here for sure.